this segment, I have Zorro here, and I'm going to go over how I would do an emotion code or a body code session on a horse like Zorro. These sessions can be done at a distance, which means I don't have to be with him. I don't have to be touching him. I could actually be at a distance. Or you'll see that I'll show you how I clear some emotions using his meridian system too. So with Zorro, what I do is I start the intention with the session filled with love and appreciation for him because he is perfect and I don't have to fix him. All I'm here to do is help him. So that's huge in setting the intention before we get started because they are very sensitive creatures and can pick up on all of this. So I feel like I have his permission, so I'm just going to connect with him and I'm going to ask if there's any stuck or trapped emotions that he would like to release today. And so if I look on the chart, I go down and I can muscle test using fingers or whatever method. We'll show that in a different video. But I'm testing. There's row 3, column B, and it's the third emotion. And this one's of grief. So he has gotten a trapped emotion of grief from something that's happened to him that he has not been able to process. Now, I can get more information, like I can ask which age or how old he was when he got it, and he seems to be around 2 years old. We do know that he's been through some type of incident or cart pulling accident, probably around that age, so that makes sense. When something traumatic has happened, the body just can't process all of the emotion at that time, or if the body's sick or run down or just overwhelmed. So I can also ask more information like where is this emotion located in his body? So when I pull up the chart of systems and circuits, I can see that it is over here in the endocrine system. It's actually affecting his thyroid. So all that saying, no diagnosing, but this emotion of grief is creating an imbalance in his thyroid. And of course, his thyroid is one of the master glands that's in charge of many things in his body. And we want the thyroid as happy as can be. Now that we've found this trapped emotion, what do we do? How do we delete it? Well, we can use energy tools, or I just like to use the hand swipe or swipe of a magnet. So if I'm here with him, then I will just use his governing meridian, which is basically his top line all the way down here. And I'll just with intention use my hand to go ahead and swipe and get that emotion off of him. He may show some other signals showing that emotion is processing, or he may not. Either way, I'm going to go back and test and see if that trapped emotion is still there. And that one trapped emotion is not. It has been released. So I'm going to ask him if there's another trapped emotion that we can release on him today. And he says there is. So this is taking me to column 1, row 2. And the emotion is heartache, or close to it anyway. So again, I'm going to ask him how old he was. We're just curious right now. And he's about the age of 2. And I'm going to ask, is this lodged somewhere in a circuit system or gland? And it is in a gland. This is also in his thyroid gland. So, or at least it's affecting the balance of his thyroid gland. Do I need to know anything else? No, his body says you found it and you can clear it. So I'm just going to step to him and I'm just going to, I can even just do the air where I'm not touching him. And that emotion of heartache will be released. I'm going to ask if there's another trapped emotion that we can release. And I see he's processing that last one there. And there is. So on this one, it's column 2. On this one, it's row 2, column B. And this one is helplessness, the emotion of helplessness. And he says we don't need to know anything else about this emotion. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to use intention and I'm just going to release it on my governing meridian. And you can see he feels that being processed and released just by the twitch of his face, the lick and the chew release. Is there another trapped emotion that we can release around the car incident or anything that's making you not want to be touched behind the saddle? I'm going to ask if there's a heart wall, and heart walls are created at a time of upset to help protect our heart. Things become too overwhelming, and so what we do is we protect our heart, or it can be other areas of our body as well, which is fine in the short term, but in the long term, if those heart walls stay, it protects us from feeling things good and bad. So I'm just going to ask him, can we clear any part of your heart wall today? And he says yes. So I'm going to go ahead and release these. These are usually made of negative trapped emotions, and his are. So let me find out which one this is. And there's helplessness. So this is just a frequency. It's an energy. We're just giving an English name to a frequency that he has. And so with intention, I'm just going to release it on my governing meridian and letting it release on him and just asking him to let that heart wall go. Now, I'm curious to see if this was found around his heart or was it somewhere else. And his body says this wall was actually somewhere else. It's taken me to his muscular system, and I'm going to ask, is it in the front? Like in front of the saddle? It is behind the saddle. So somewhere is at the top, the left, right. So it seems to be this trapped emotion has been right on top of his lower back. That's creating a block or stagnant energy there. So I'm glad we got to release that one. Is there another heart wall that you would like to release today? And he says there is. And this one's a vulnerability or feeling unsafe. And this is also found in the muscular system or affecting the muscular system. So I'm going to release that through my meridian system, not having to touch him, just using intention since we're connected through a quantum field. I'm just going to let him process that and feel that. Now that these protective walls have come down more, he is likely to feel more things. So that can be good or bad as he's processing. So I'm just going to let him have a moment. And I'm actually going to step out of his field just a bit to give him a little more space to process. So I'm going to release an idea intolerance to him. So basically idea intolerances are when he thinks about a certain idea or concept, it creates symptoms of overwhelm, anxiousness, stress, gut issues, things like that. So when he thinks about being vulnerable, that is the idea intolerance. He creates symptoms of stress, like it would for any of us. But for some reason, probably based on the incident that we're talking about, he never finished processing it and resolving that trauma. So I'm just asking his body to correct the faulty connection with the idea of feeling vulnerable, so he doesn't have to process all of the symptoms of stress. Good. And is there another idea intolerance that we can release? No. Now can we release another heart wall? Yes. This one is of feeling insecure or unsafe about his situation. Do we need to know anything more? No. Just going to go ahead and release that. And you can see he's already accepting that release. Good. He's not showing another heart wall now, so I'll ask if there's something else he would like to release that's in the body code. And he says, yes, there is. And I'm just going to check through his chakra system. I just want to know if there's any trapped emotions or heart walls that we can release through his chakra system, through his meridians. His meridians, yes. I don't even need to know which ones, but 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 meridians where we can clear some trapped emotions. Now, we did that a little bit with our Masterson technique style, where we would go through and touch certain points. But this one, again, we'll be able to clear without having to touch if we find the right emotion or the right faulty program. In his meridians, they were all his, they were not absorbed. But without the meridians being able to flow smoothly, obviously we're going to have blockages in the energetic body, which will lead to the endocrine system problems too. This one's one of criticism. So when he feels criticized, or maybe think he's done something wrong, it's actually another basically histamine generator here. Yeah. I don't know if you can see his little head's kind of twitching sideways. He's kind of feeling that move through his nervous system there as it's clearing. It's beautiful. Horses can't lie. I'm just going to do a just quick yes or no questions just so we can get some information and see how he feels about certain things. So I'm going to ask about his environment. Can I ask about your environment? Yes. So when I ask about your pasture, I want to know the area where you live. I want to know how happy, I'm just using the word happy. So we have a reference here. How happy are you in that area? And it's an 8 out of 10. So again, I can ask more questions, why he doesn't like certain things about the environment, the pasture he's in. And I'm going to ask about his pasture mates. And you can see the blinks and responses here. How happy is he about his pasture mates? I'm only getting a 3 out of 10. So I want to narrow it down and see, is there one in particular? There is. And there's actually a horse that we just moved out of there that he is not fond of. So interesting that he still remembered that. Good. And then I'm going to ask him about his food, his diet. And I want to know how happy he is with the quality of food he's getting. That's a 10 out of 10. How about the amount of food he's getting? And that's a 10 out of 10. How about the time of day that he's getting it? And he says that's a 1 out of 10. So I'll just for curiosity, I'll ask him, Zorro, what time of day would you like to be fed? It seems like in the evening. And he says 8 p.m. Now, I don't know why that is, but he seems to kind of agree with that response. Let me just ask, what amount of sleep are you getting for what your body needs? And he says it's a 3 out of 10. So that's pretty serious. A horse that's not sleeping enough is not repairing. So I'm going to ask why. Why are you not getting enough sleep? This is going to a heart wall of panic. And do I need to know any more about it? No. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to swipe that off. Delete that. And again, he's stepping closer to me. So I want to know, how happy are you with your sleep now? Okay, we went from a 3 to a 7, so I'm just going to explore. There's something else we can clear. This is in the body code. And this has to do with some genetic coding from mom and dad. So this has been in his dad's line for a bit. It's a miasma. Do we need to know more? No. So I'm just going to clear that all the way through his bloodline and just ask that it reset to his perfect blueprint where he can sleep with restorative sleep so his body can do the processes and the cell regeneration that it needs to. And now he says he is happy with sleep, a 10 out of 10. Curious to know how you sleep tonight, Zorro. Just real quick, some other things can check is I want to know how happy are you with your bit and bridle that you wear. That seems to be an 8 out of 10, so not too bad. How happy are you with the saddle and saddle pad that you wear? That's about an 8 out of 10. How about the girth or the cinch? He says that's a 5 out of 10. So I can just ask if he would like a different one, a different place. He says that he doesn't want it as tight. So that could be something we could work on to see if there's anything we can do to make him more comfortable and how tight it is. But just to follow up a little further, I might also ask, does he have any pain, injury? Is it emotional, mental? He feels trapped is what he's saying. So he feels trapped. It's a game. Horses don't like to be squeezed, especially on both sides. And unfortunately, that's what a saddle, girth, and rider will do. So I get it. I understand. Is there anything I can release that would help him to be more comfortable with having that girth or cinch on him? No. So maybe just it's going to take a little practice and for him to get used to that. We'll just have to do some checking. Those are some things we can ask periodically. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching Zorro get some cleared of some emotional baggage and energy. So what this does is it makes him a healthier horse overall, makes him a better partner for our therapy program, and it's one of the most humane and kind things that we can do for ourselves and our animals. So thanks for watching.